Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 223. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw on the mic. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing pretty good.
Get excited about your little pup-pup?
I'm so excited about my pup-pup.
That's great. So what made you decide on the Schnauzer?
My wife is extremely allergic to dogs. So trying to get a dog that, won't essentially kill her with allergies. So it kind of makes it, narrows down the field.
Yeah.
Schnauzer's on there, and then we found a Schnauzer. And we checked it out.
So wait, hold on. How does she know, how does she know that she's not allergic to them? Are they hypoallergenic dogs?
Yeah, they say that some breeds are hypoallergenic, but obviously it's not 100%.
Right.
So you essentially narrows it down, and then you pick one of those, and then we go check the dog out, play with it for a little bit. Yeah, see what happens.
Huh. And I guess everything was okay.
Everything was. It wasn't 100% okay. She broke out a little bit, but it wasn't. It wasn't like a, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to live like this type of deal.
Okay, so you're just hoping that she gets an immunity.
Well, it's kind of the plan. It's probably not going to happen.
Oh, that's cool. Schnauzers are great dogs.
It's been a while since I had a dog, so I'm kind of excited. I'm more of a cat person, but I can't have a cat because there's no such thing as hypoallergenic cats.
I remember I'm not very allergic to animals. I don't have many allergies, but I remember one of our friends at one point had 8 cats in his. I'm talking about Justin. He had 8 cats, and every time I'd go over there, I would just break out in hives so bad. I think just because there was so much cat.
So many cats.
There was so much cat going on in that house.
Yeah.
That my body could not take it.
Yeah, sometimes it's just, if there's an overload of cat, it doesn't matter. Even if you're not allergic to cats whatsoever, I think it's just, once you hit peak cat,
yeah,
it just kicks in no matter what. Yeah,
no matter what, you're breathing in that dander. You're getting the dander.
You can't get away from it.
Nah, it's everywhere. It's it's in the couch, the cloth, the fibers. It's just ugh. Anyway, this week on the show, we got 2 reviews lined up with you with Ben Cresciman's Sunchoke along with Kristopher Avedisian's Donald Cried. We'll also be talking about some other stuff we've been watching on the watch list, movie predictions, new on video on demand, Blu-ray releases. I didn't gather up any news bits for this week. Other than there were a couple trailers that came out. The teaser trailer for Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's next movie, came out. Did you happen to catch this one?
No, I didn't. I didn't even see that it came out.
Yeah, it's just a teaser. It's a short little teaser. I saw it in front of Suicide Squad.
Do they happen to be storming a beach?
No. No. It's a really short teaser of the army, and they're held up, I think in maybe a U-boat or something, and the camera kind of just stays fixed on them, and they have their heads down, and then you hear what sounds like a bomb being dropped or a plane that's about to dive bomb them. Mm-hmm. And you just see one guy look up, and then gradually you see all the other guys look up, and then they all duck, and that's kind of the end of it. It's me describing it does it no justice at all, but it looks like it's going to be great. I'm sure it will be. So yeah, check that one out, I would say.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. The Handmaiden got a new trailer too, which looks pretty excellent. Park Chan-wook.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one.
Oh boy.
Heard nothing but great things. Let's go ahead and dive into our first review. I was thinking we could go with which one? You pick. It doesn't matter to me.
Let's get Sunchoke. Let's get that one.
Okay.
Let's do that real quick.
All right. So Sunchoke. This is written and directed by Ben Cresciman. I have a synopsis here. Janie's just trying to get well.
There you go.
I love that. I love that synopsis. I think there should be more synopses like that.
If it's just real short.
Yeah, just short to the point. This stars Barbara Crampton and Sarah Hagen. I feel like I haven't seen Sarah Hagen in a while. I think the last thing I saw her in was that movie called Jess and Moss.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did you see that one?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I liked that. So do you want to start it off, or do you want me to kick off Sunchoke?
I kind of want you to kick it off because I really want to know what the hell you thought about Sunchoke.
I liked Sunchoke. So
Okay.
I thought that this was a very interesting, very taut thriller. I like the fact that Ben Cresciman doesn't hold your hand. You kind of go into this thing. Like, I knew nothing about this movie going into it. Nothing.
Yeah, same here.
All I knew is that I knew the cast, and that's pretty much all I knew. I knew that it was about somebody who was undergoing some sort of holistic treatment. That's like the extent of what I knew. So I thought that by him not, like, you just kind of, the movie starts off in the middle of this treatment, and you don't know what it's for. You don't know the relationship between Sarah Hagen and Barbara Crampton. You just have the bare minimum amount of information, and as it unfolds, you kind of learn more about what's going on. And I found that to be kind of just very intriguing in and of itself. And then as it ramped up, I felt like maybe there was a little bit more, I wanted a little bit more information out of it. Like, just give me a little bit more to go on here, because a lot of it, especially at the end, felt I was a little confused about what was going on towards the end.
I was extremely confused.
Like, I really wasn't sure what was happening there at the end. And, like, I didn't quite get the motivations of Sarah Hagen, other than the fact that she seemed to have some sort of mental illness and she had a psychotic break. I didn't understand, because essentially what happens, so basically it starts off with Sarah Hagen undergoing this treatment from Barbara Crampton that seems very kind of experimental. It's kind of out there, and we don't really know what it's for, and it seems to be pretty drastic. So at the beginning I was like, okay, either Barbara Crampton is a horrible person, like she's just evil, or Sarah Hagen has done something so horrifically bad that it requires this kind of treatment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the back and forth, because, you know, one scene you'll be like, I don't know, there is something wrong with her. She's up to something. But then the other scene, you're just like, oh my God, like the scene, like there was one really just,
which is, it kind of feels like there's someone like with a serious mental illness trying to administer therapy onto another person with a serious mental illness. It's like two people with serious mental illness trying to take care of each other, and it's not really working out at all.
But there were just so many questions. There were just questions after questions from the beginning, like, what is their relationship? Like, how did they meet each other? Because it seemed like Barbara Crampton's character knew her family somehow.
Yeah,
it was like,
because there for a while you're like, is she like a stepmom type thing? Is she like a nanny?
I thought she was an aunt, maybe.
Yeah, like there's so many questions which I think, like, I did, like you said, I appreciated it going in where you're just kind of dropped in with no context, really no backstory, none of that. Like, you're just going in blind, and it's really ambiguous up to a certain point. But I think at a certain point, it's like you kind of realize that it's not ambiguity. It's just that he doesn't have a story, and he's just been like smoke screens up until then. Because like after like I was into it. I was into it for a while, and then it just kind of petered out. And then there's just all these, like everything at the end just kind of fell apart to me. Just became really just all over the place. And I had no idea who this character was anymore. I mean, maybe that was kind of the point. But like you said, I have no idea what the motivations are. I don't know who's who.
Right. Because it gets
completely change. It's just...
Right. Once she has her like final break, it seems like she completely loses touch with reality. So a lot of what we're seeing is sort of what she sees in her head. So you're never even really sure.
Yeah, she's having these like
what's
flashbacks
real and what's not.
And I'm just, and there's at a certain point, because she's having the flashbacks, and then she's having, and then of course all throughout this time they're using all these kind of like camera tricks where it's kind of shaky and going fuzzy, and the focus is going in and out, and all this stuff. And it's just like, at a certain point, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I don't know if you know what movie you want to make. It seems like you're kind of confused. Like maybe just take a moment and get back to me, and then we can get together at some point in time, and you stop wasting my time.
I mean, that could be true, but I feel like I think he had a vision, but I just think that it got muddled, and I feel like he was too abstract with what the story he was telling.
Because I think there's two ways that I see ambiguity. When it's done really well, which is someone has the story, the reality of the film, of everything about it. It's all mapped out, and they have all of it taken care of, backstory, everything. If you ask them a question, they have it. But they just don't put it in the movie. But they have thought about it and thought through everything.
Right.
And then there's other films where they just have some stuff, and then they're like, well, we'll kind of like shroud in ambiguity, and maybe that'll take care of some of these like these holes in the narrative.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of felt with this one.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that with that train of thought, I think that it can be that's very subjective. I mean, I feel like you can look at that. Anybody can look at that one way or the other. But I do agree with you completely. Like for me, the ambiguity of this film, it didn't affect me that way. Like I first of all, I wasn't yearning for answers. Like I think that I would have come away from this with a bigger appreciation for it if I did get some more answers, but it didn't frustrate me like some movies. And it also, like, I think that what happened with you is that he was just like, throwing it all against the wall, and he was just like, well, we'll just leave that. We'll let the audience figure that one out. Yeah. And I think, and I agree that I think that it can be used as a crutch for some filmmakers.
And the other thing, because interestingly enough, even though I say all this, that wasn't the thing that irritated me the most. Like, I would have been pretty much okay with it. Like you were saying, I'm not really yearning for answers. I don't need this to be laid out and mapped out for me. And the thing that got me the most is there's just like, there didn't really seem to be that much life to it. Like, there was just so much of this, like the slowness of everything, and then the line delivery of everyone is kind of like this really slow, almost whispered. Like there was someone in the house that we don't see, that no one wanted to wake up. So they were all just trying to be as quiet as possible and not make too much noise to wake this person up that we never see. And I just wanted some more life in the damn movie.
I think that probably goes to the whole treatment thing. Like the whole point of it was to keep her calm, to keep her faculties at an even keel, and to try to give her a soothing life. Just create a soothing reality for her. So I think that kind of goes to why they spoke the way that they did and all of that. But like, I felt like the dialogue was very stiff. Like it was very methodical. It didn't necessarily feel natural to me, but that wasn't a huge
Well, it also kind of
problem area for me, though.
It also kind of felt repetitive because you're not really giving me too many answers to, what they're trying to cure,
Right,
what she's
and
dealing with. So they keep just going over this, like the yoga stuff and the tuning fork and this and that, and I'm like, I don't know what, like, why, like, what,
right.
what's the aim of this? I don't know what you're trying to fix. I don't know what she's suffering from. It's just Barbara Crampton hitting a tuna fork again while you're laying on a couch. Like, okay, I guess.
I gotta say, I feel like Barbara Crampton's having a bit of a comeback here.
It seems like it.
Like she was kind of gone for a while there, and I feel like she's really been doing some pretty interesting things between this and We're Still Here. Like she's making a little bit of a little renaissance for Barbara Crampton. I really enjoy that. I think that's fantastic because I thought she was really good in this.
Yeah, she was good. So what's Sarah Hagen?
Yeah, Sarah Hagen was good too. I think this was a good role for Sarah Hagen.
To me, a lot of it felt flat.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's nothing that really like caught me off guard. That like wowed me creatively speaking. I mean, it seems like it's well constructed enough, except for that where it just kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, there's one thing. I don't think this is a spoiler by any means, but one of the main areas of this is that the Barbara Crampton, her character of Irma, allows Sarah Hagen's character Janie she allows her to leave. It's not like she's being held prisoner. So she allows her to go out, and every time she goes out, she's essentially stalking this other woman.
Yeah, everything just falls apart.
And I'm just, and like with that, I had so many questions. Like, how does she know her? Like, did I miss something with that? That whole relationship.
One and two, there's something that happens where it's like the shocking, which to me was just nonsensical. They just like knock on someone's door,
yeah,
and just, I mean, like, would if you're that man.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he deserved what happened to him, but like, come on, dude.
You gotta set up some. You can't just like, okay, let's do this.
I was pretty shocked by the level of brutal violence that occurs in this movie. I wasn't expecting that because, like I said, I really had no idea of what this was.
Yeah,
how this was going to unfold going into it.
I mean, it was kind of shocking, but at the same point, like the first one, the bashing, if you will, that just, like, to me, that just came out of nowhere and made no sense to me whatsoever. It's just like, okay, that was, I guess, violence for no reason. Well, I've learned nothing. I have no idea what is happening.
That was Janie, I guess, trying to make sure that who's the girl, Savannah, making sure that Savannah was like all hers. It was like get rid of the boyfriend.
Yes,
because she was jealous and lashed out. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely some erratic behavior going on in this movie.
Extremely erratic behavior.
Some very, very erratic behavior. But it's funny though, because it's like, wow, this as intense as this treatment is, it is not working.
No,
it's not working.
It failed like the first day that she was let outside.
Yeah.
Like, and why did you continue? Because I think like the second day she came back like an hour and a half late. You got to be like, okay, I let you go outside.
Yeah, it was too soon for this.
It's not working. And it would, how long have you been administering this therapy? How long have we been doing this?
That's a good question. I have no idea. It seemed like a while. It felt like they were doing it for a while. But I'm also not exactly sure what happened to cause the need for the therapy. Like there was one, or maybe even more than one flashback that kind of, I feel like maybe it kind of alluded to it. Yeah. But I don't really know what exactly that was all about. So it's just
I mean, number one, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. Which I'll readily admit, I don't really care. Doesn't need to make sense. I don't give two shits if it makes sense. It's just that not only does it not make sense, it's just not really that interesting. Because, if you're not going to make sense, at least just make it like off the wall and just at least hold my interest.
Yeah, it held my interest. I was fairly into it, pretty much the whole time. So I wish that some things had a more kind of definitive answer to them. Like I wish that maybe a little bit of clarification was done. But overall, I still think it was fine. It was to me, it was an entertaining little thriller.
Well, and also you're administering this like hardcore therapy, whatever it is. I don't even know if it has a name.
I don't think so. I think at times I thought she was just winging it.
I think she was too. I don't really think Irma knew what she was doing. Which, I mean, obviously you find out that she didn't.
No,
because none of it worked. But hide your scissors better. If you got to do like all this crazy ass shit therapy wise, number one, why do you have those big old school scissors?
Big rusty old scissors.
Things are dangerous.
Get rid of those.
No one has those. No one has those except for like 70-year-olds. Okay, so get rid of that shit. Like you shouldn't have that kind of stuff in your house. And then also just protect your neck.
As the Wu-Tang explains.
Yeah, I mean, the Wu-Tang can teach you a lot about how to live life. And that's one of the main things that they teach you is protect your neck.
Yep. All right. That's Sunchoke. Ken reviewed this for us on the site. He gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm going to throw out a 6 out of 10 on this one. Kevin, what are you going to give Sunchoke?
I'm going to give Sunchoke a 4.5.
4.5 out of 10. Kevin.
Sunchokes. It's it's named after a vegetable.
Oh, yeah?
Aren't sunchokes a vegetable?
I have no idea.
Sunchokes. I'm looking it up quick. The sunchokes.
Is it like a...
Isn't like
some sort of artichoke in the artichoke family?
Yeah, a Jerusalem artichoke, also called sunroot, sunchoke, earth apple.
Earth apple?
Earth apple. So there you go. That is not what I thought they looked like. Okay. Damn.
Were they in the movie? I didn't notice anything.
No, the only thing was she had that flashback and that little kid was like, sunchoke.
Maybe maybe that they were part of the drink that she had to drink?
I don't know. Maybe.
Would that be it?
Tuber.
Tuber.
It kind of looks like horseradish.
Okay. Horseradish is creepy looking. I think that's a creepy looking root.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's something going on with sunchokes. Like if I looked up some sunchoke information, it would enlighten me as to what the movie Sunchoke is about.
Yeah, maybe there's like healing properties or something.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have to read Jerusalem Artichoke's Wikipedia page to be enlightened.
I wish the movie was called Jerusalem Artichoke.
That's a little more interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sunchoke is playing in select cities right now, and you can see this on VOD as well. Let's talk about our next movie. We're discussing Donald Cried. This is available now for free on Festival Scope. So you can go to festivalscope.com, sign up for a free membership there, and give it a watch. It's only going to be available for till like the 21st or something like that.
I think it's 21st. It's that, and I forget how many. I think it's Locarno Festival is like 10 films on there or something that you can check out.
Yeah, so be sure to check out festivalscope.com because there might be some other ones that are available for free that might pique your interest. So this is written and directed by Chris Avedisian. I have a synopsis here. With sudden passing of his grandmother, Peter Latang returns to his hometown and encounters his long-lost childhood friend, Donald Trebeck. What begins as a simple favor turns into a long day's journey into the past. So Donald Trebeck is played by Chris Avedisian. So
and, I'll start off because really with this movie is just watching him
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially you're here for his performance as Donald Trebek.
This is the Donald Trebek show.
Yeah, like it is. He's a character. He's quite the character, and he remains interesting for an hour 25 minutes.
Yeah.
You just want to see. You essentially want to see Donald Trebek in any situation, really. If you can think it up, throw Donald Trebek in there, and I'll more than likely watch it.
Absolutely, yeah.
To see, is he just working the night shift at the bowling alley? Fucking sign me up. I'll watch that for an hour and a half. Is he going grocery shopping? Yep, I'll watch it. I'll watch that. Is he shoveling his front yard? I'll watch that too. Is he, pretty much anything.
Fantastic character. Almost everything he said made me laugh.
It's just, and he doesn't really have to say anything because his hair
mm-hmm.
His hair alone.
Yeah. And the glasses are the perfect ensemble piece
if you saw the hair, and I asked you like, what kind of glasses do you think would go with this hair? Those are the glasses.
Those are the glasses, yeah.
If I showed you those glasses and I said, what haircut do you think would go with those glasses? That's the haircut you would pick.
Yeah.
Like, it's a match made in heaven.
It's a perfect match.
Now, not only is the hair bad enough to begin with, it's just an awful haircut. I don't understand it. I don't know how you can get that bad of a haircut. But the fact that it always looks like he just woke up from sleeping entirely on his back because it's all fucked up in the back and all ratty. Like,
it's all matted.
That's Donald Trebek, and Donald Trebek he has a lot of errands to do.
Yeah,
and they're all kind of pointless.
Yeah,
and you just gotta stick with it because there's nothing you can do because you lost your fucking wallet.
Yeah, this was an interesting one because I couldn't help but think about when I go to our hometown and visit. It just reminded me so much of some of the people that we know that we went to high school with it made me feel nostalgic in a way. And I thought that was kind of interesting because it's about a guy who he wanted nothing more than to leave his hometown, and he finally did. He moved to New York. And then his grandmother passes away, so he has to come back to, take care of her affairs. And along the way, like Kevin said, he loses his wallet on the bus. So he's got no money, no ID, no nothing. So he looks up his old buddy Donald, his high school buddy, and adventures ensue. And I thought this was really funny. I enjoyed this.
I thought it was pretty funny too. And I was actually, because it could have just stayed the way it was and just been kind of simple, like, Odd Couple style, where he's, successful Manhattan finance guy with his nice coat and his scarf and everything, hanging out with his old buddy Donald Trebek with his various flannels, and terrible haircuts and glasses. And that's enough right there for an hour and a half to keep you, for the most part, entertained. But the fact that they do kind of switch it up a little bit where it, kind of like the reasoning why he left there is a little bit different than how it normally is. Because normally it comes down to like, he hates that fucking town. He hates everyone in it.
Yeah.
He wants to get out. But sort of to find out that he's the biggest asshole out of all of them and he's the fucking dick, it kind of switches it up a little bit. And then towards the end, I thought it was kind of interesting the way where, they kind of like start hanging out and the places that they kind of took it from there.
Yeah, because there's one moment where they go to this like little hangout spot that they used to hang out in, and there's something that happens down there, and it was really interesting what he did with that scene because I completely thought it was going to take a turn and go down a very dark road because everything seemed to be pointing that direction. Like everything seemed to be set up like because by this point we found out we knew that he was a dick. We knew that he wasn't a good person, and yet Donald was, treating him like a rock star.
Yeah.
And you thought, at least I thought, like, oh man, this was all a ruse, and he was just doing this to get him back, you know, get revenge on him. But it didn't go down that path. I'm actually kind of glad it didn't.
Well, yeah, because I think that would have made it, you know, I think that would have been a bit too much.
Yeah, but it does get serious. It's not all, you know, goofball, you know, Donald being ridiculous.
Donald just does he makes some odd decisions.
Yeah,
and it seems like he's just, at certain points, he seems like he's this, you know, just lovable goof that never grew up. And then there's these other times where it's like, oh shit, like he actually has some like really like deep problems.
Well, yeah, because at times you feel like he's very calculating. Like he knows, like for instance, towards the beginning there was a scene where they go to this diner and they sit down, and somebody that they knew from high school sits down at the booth next to them, and just what Donald says, and it almost seemed like he knew, like,
yeah, because
he had to know that what he was saying was completely inappropriate.
And it's, yeah, because the title stems from something that happened to Donald, and you keep thinking, you know, these things keep coming up where it's like, okay, is he getting back at
right.
Peter, or is this
like,
just,
you don't really know? You don't really know.
Is he just making bizarre decisions like he always does? Everything with the grandma too, where he's like flipping through the photo now. There's the one where he's pointing right at the
Yep. So you always think like, is he just this lovable buffoon, or is he really? Does he know exactly what he's doing?
And
this is all part of his master plan. Like, you never really know.
It's this weird combo. You just never know what the fuck's going on with Donald Treeback. That's what makes him such an interesting character.
Yeah,
that's, I mean,
I
can watch Donald Treeback in any situation, because you don't really know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah, and this was an interesting one too, because I also, like Sunchoke, I had no idea what this was all about going into it. Went in completely cold, and I didn't really know where it was going to go. And the first scene when he first starts talking to Donald, and he's talking about what he imagined that he would be like if he was saying about his hair, how his long hair tells a story. And it was at that moment where I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going, and I'm loving this right now.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff right in that beginning, from the porn star poster over his bed, and how he segues that back into his grandmother passing away, and then, like you said, his long hair telling a story where he thought he became Dog the Bounty Hunter, and that anytime he killed someone, he would take part of them and weave it into his hair.
Yeah, weave it into his hair.
Which is odd, because I would like to know the Peter Latang from high school that you would think, because obviously us looking at Peter Latang, we would never think that.
Right.
But high school Peter Latang must have been
he must have been wild, yeah.
A completely different beast.
Yeah, because they frequently talk about what he kind of what he was like in high school, and
he sounds like one of the worst people ever.
Yeah, like they were just these kind of metalheads that seemed to be just awful human beings. But yeah, I was surprised with this one. It was definitely my kind of indie comedy for sure.
Well, it's interesting too, because it's one of those if you take out the character of Donald Treeback, like this, there's nothing to this movie.
No, there is no movie.
It's all Donald Treeback.
No, yeah, you're right. But I mean, there's nothing. Yeah, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I mean, the whole movie was about Donald and what a character he is. This movie kind of reminded me of a Joel Petroikis movie, like Buzzard or one of those.
Yeah, but better.
I think so.
It's a better character.
I love these comedies that take place in kind of like middle America, you know?
It did kind of remind me of Going Back to York.
Yeah, about how like when he comes back, like he has this whole different life. You know, he probably has different friends. He lives a completely different life, and then he comes back, and like he said, he goes, "I don't like the person that I become when I'm here." And it's like you come back, and it's like nothing has changed. There's still all the same kind of high school level drama that was taking place when you left, however many decades ago. And it's like everything is the exact same. And when you come back to it, it's like you start to fall into that cycle again. And a lot of times that's how I feel when I go back to Pennsylvania. It's like you start reminiscing. You get together with your friends, you're drinking, you're reminiscing, and like you're just hearing stories about, oh, remember so and so? Yeah, he like got AIDS or whatever. Oh, remember so and so? He robbed a pharmacy and went to jail. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. See, that's the worst. That's the worst part of it. Most of ours is, do you remember so and so? Well, they got arrested for this, or they're dead.
Yeah.
Or they got arrested. It's like one of the two things, or their lives have turned into like complete shit. They didn't get arrested, and they're not dead, but they're like a room below that.
Yeah. It's sort of like the story that Donald tells about the guy that they knew that got cut in half.
Yeah,
in the accident.
If you had to pick one of the brothers,
it was Denny.
It was the right one.
Oh God! It's just
Treeback. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I definitely recommend this one. I think if you're into the kind of lo-fi American indie comedies, then I think that there is a lot to latch on to here because it's Donald Treebeck. He's such a
make Donald Treebeck a franchise. Can we do that?
So what are you going to score this one?
I give it a 7.
Okay. I'm also going to give Donald Cried a 7 out of 10. Again, you can see this for free on Festival Scope, and I do recommend it. I think it is well worth a look.
I would give Donald Treebeck a 10.
Yes, Donald Treebeck gets a 10. I am curious. I want to see him do more movies as an actor. Like I want to see because I feel like you could have Donald Treebeck not be the specific character of Donald Treebeck, but maybe somebody else that's just acts like him. You know what I mean?
It needs to be. He needs to take the Woody Allen route and just have various people play Donald Treebeck, and we have to have Donald Treebeck characters throughout several decades. And we just keep coming out with his name doesn't have to be Donald Treebeck, but he just needs to be a character like that person.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm
doing adventures in New England.
Yep, definitely. All right, let's move on and talk about some of what we've been watching on the watch list. Kevin, I think it's your turn this week.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah. What have you been watching?
I wasn't really ready. So
okay.
Let me hop in here. I rewatched Memories of Murder.
Oh, nice.
My wife's never seen that one, and it's been forever since I saw it. So I was like, let's do it. Because I haven't seen it since 2003 when it came out, I think. So I remember it being pretty good, but man, that's a solid movie.
It's long.
It is. It's a long one, but I mean, it remains engaging throughout.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is I completely forgot because like towards the end, I'm like, you know what? I forget who did it.
Oh yeah.
I forget who ends up doing it, who it ends up being, and then like there's about the scene like at the train tracks with the guy, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that's what was different about this one. And I just forgot about the number of drop kicks in this movie.
Yeah, when they're like interrogating the people and stuff.
It is drop kicking the shit out of
everybody.
It's fucking great. Everyone's getting kicked. Just kicking people left and right. He does that drop kick down the hill when he first meets the other cop that comes in from Seoul. Like he from the top of the hill to the bottom, just straight drop. I mean, that was one of the nicest drop kicks I've ever seen. And then there's that one that the guy that the cop that ends up getting in trouble towards the end and his career in life kind of fall apart. He does that one over the table out of nowhere where he just loses it, and he just comes out of nowhere and straight drop kicks that guy. Cool boy, that is a hell of a drop kick. Those 2 drop kicks alone, god damn.
Yeah, Memories of Murder, fantastic. Holy crap, I love that movie so much.
That was on Mubi, so I think it's still on there.
Yeah, I would highly recommend checking that out. Let's see. I saw Alphabet City from 1984. I love these 80s New York movies. I can't get enough of them.
There's something about them, isn't there?
I love it. I love movies that take place in old New York because it was such a seedy, dirty place, and this one definitely takes place in that environment. So this is directed by Amos Poe. Stars Vincent Spano, and Michael Winslow's in there too.
Oh, yeah?
The sound effects guy from Police Academy. He plays a drug dealer.
Okay.
So basically, Vincent Spano plays this kind of big time drug dealer in the Lower East Side in Alphabet City, where I used to live was right above Alphabet City. I lived on First Avenue, so I was 1 block away from Alphabet City.
Huh?
Still not a great place, but back then it was really, really bad. The one thing that I noticed about this movie that was so funny was he would just be wandering around, going to different places, and there were just burning barrels everywhere. And I really want to know if that was an actual thing, because you see that, especially in these 80s New York movies, where there's just burning barrels all over the place.
That's how you keep warm.
I've never seen in real life a burning barrel like that.
There are some things that you wonder if is that a movie thing or is that like a real thing?
Yeah, because you think that it has to be derived from a real
but it could have been just like here and there would be a burning barrel, and then they just kind of went nuts with it. They're like, how certain alleys there's homeless people setting fires in barrels. Let's just have them randomly placed throughout the city.
I mean, I'm telling you, this movie, there were like 3 or 4 of them on every block that he would go to. They were just everywhere, just burning barrels. I didn't really get that.
It sounds like something that should bring back.
Bring back the burning barrels?
Let's bring back the burning barrels. Come on.
Overall, this was a pretty fun movie. It had a really good soundtrack, which it's kind of that 80s synth soundtrack, but it was genuine. It was the real deal. It wasn't this kind of throwback synth stuff that you hear nowadays. It was like it was the genuine article. But it was pretty fun. It wasn't anything amazing. It's not very memorable, but I had a good time with it. It wasn't nearly as kind of dark and seedy as I expected it to be. Like it's pretty dark, but it's more of an action movie than anything. Either way, it's a pretty fun watch, so I'd give it a light recommend. That's Alphabet City.
City sounds interesting. I might have to check that one out. Actually.
It's worth a look. Yeah.
Is the one of the things that I've always noticed in those 80s 70s New York movies, it's just the amount of trash.
Oh yeah. There's just so much trash everywhere.
Like whole alleys, it's like knee deep trash.
Yeah, I think that was actually a real problem. Like that was a real thing.
I want to know like how or why. Like what was the issue back then?
I don't know if there were like strikes or if they just couldn't handle it, or if like the city was
the workforce was just really,
if the city was in such like financial like having such financial problems that there were. I don't know.
See,
I'm sure there's a reason.
Now, if you think about it a little bit, city can't take care of it, mayor's office, whatever it is, politics, you know how that can be. So you have the people taking it into their own hands with barrels, fires, they just burn the trash, they're taking care of their city. That's how they do it. That's what's up with the burning barrels.
Could be, yeah. That must be it. I doubt that it represents the poverty of New York at the time.
It's just it's the ingenuity of New York's population.
Yeah, we're a resilient people.
Oh, look! I like how you're using the "we're" already.
I think I've been here long enough.
You have not. Give me a
break. I think I have.
I watched KWAK, or Cassandra with a K. This is from 2012. This is I have the review up, Unsung Indie. This is my latest. This is one that I saw on No Budge a while back, and in my review on the site, I actually have like the streaming, because apparently there's like 5 different cuts of this movie, or 6 cuts, 7 cuts, a ridiculous amount of cuts to this thing. So much so that when I expressed how much I like this film on Twitter, the guy that made it was like, "Oh, I have a new cut coming out that I've been working on." This came out in 2012, so he's still recutting this thing, and I think he's going to have one like a couple of days here. He's going to have a different version of it. The one I saw is 2 hours and 2 minutes long. On IMDb, it says 1 hour and 33 minutes. I didn't see that cut. The one I saw was over 2 hours, but I loved everything that was in the 2 hour one. So I would imagine that I would like the 1 hour and 33 minute one as well. It's just a really interesting film where it kind of starts off with him living life as a homeless man and also trying to come up with some money, begging on the streets for money and performing music and whatnot to try and make money to finish the film that he's working on. So it's kind of like behind the scenes, like making of documentary of him trying to make this movie about this relationship that fell apart with this girl. And then at a certain point, that's all kind of not really working out too well for him. And then his other friend starts to help him out with the movie. So then it becomes kind of like this document of their friendship from the start and how they're, working together on this movie. And it's really like them like rehearsing different scenes and multiple takes and just the way everything's kind of cut up and put together. It's really, really interesting. And I can't recommend it enough.
Very meta.
It's like a film. You know how they have those like film within a film? Yeah. There's like 9 films in this. It's just, there's so much going on.
I love movies like that.
It's so many different things. And the thing that I like about it, and I've always liked this about films, is it's really simple enough that you can just watch it, take it at face value, and it's just entertaining. Okay. It's, light comedy, some interesting stuff going on here and there. And you can just take it at face value, and it's good in that sense. But then if you do want to go a little bit deeper and dig into it, that kind of stuff is there as well.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like similar to Actor Martinez, which I saw at Tribeca, how that was put together.
Well, it is interesting to think, too, that, it does seem like nowadays that's what everyone's obsessed with this whole, like, docu-fiction hybrid. Like,
yeah.
It's about making the movie that they're trying to make.
Yep.
And it's like he did this back in 2012, and he did it big time, where it's like them making a movie, and then the movie's about them trying to fund the movie and trying to raise money for the movie by like crowdfunding, by busking on the street. And then it's also about this other movie that they're making, but it's also just about them hanging out as friends and recording it. Like there's so many things to it that predates a lot of that.
Yeah, this definitely sounds interesting.
So I highly recommend it.
Cool. I saw Humanoids from the Deep. This is directed by Barbara Peters.
This sounds awesome.
This is from 1980. This is a classic creature feature. It's been a long time since I've seen a creature feature, at least I think. At least one that's kind of a traditional man-in-suit creature feature, and that's what this is. It's sort of a Jaws ripoff. Basically, it's about this small fishing village, and they have this cannery that is looking to help the fishermen like revitalize their trade by introducing these kind of like these like hormones that they're injecting into the salmon to make them bigger and more plentiful or something. And of course, it goes wrong, and they mutate, and they're like these giant humanoid monsters who they kill the men, and they impregnate all the women they come across. So they're looking to mate. That's what they're doing. They're trying to mate. They're hunting women, and it's a cheesy, fun little horror movie. Some pretty decent gore effects in this one, and it has a really good score from James Horner, which I thought was very interesting. Because the intro music was playing, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And the credits were coming up, and it was like composer James Horner, and I'm like, "What?" It's weird. But this one's definitely worth a look. It's cheesy. It's a B movie, but it's still very fun. And it's again called Humanoids from the Deep. It's also known as Monster.
So they're mermans.
Sort of.
Mermans that kill the men and rape the women.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that sounds dark as fuck.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying, really. Mermans?
It's pretty dark. Yeah. It gets very, very gory at times.
That's just really disturbing. And I'm looking, I have Humanoids of the Deep up on here on IMDb, going down through. Guy plays Billy, David Strassman. Look at the picture. Look at the picture for him. Like, what is, like, that's terrifying.
David Strassman. Let me look him up. Oh, yeah.
I mean, are you serious?
That is very odd.
It's just, that scares me.
He is in the movie, he has that doll. He there's a scene, he gets killed, and there's a scene where he's in a tent, like, getting ready to have sex with his girlfriend, and the thing comes in and kills him.
Oh, God. That's terrifying. I watched several short films, and the reasoning for this was a little while back, Filmmaker Magazine came out with their 25 new faces of film, that they come out with every year. And there was a person on there, John Wilson. So he has a bunch of these short films on johnsmovies.com. And this is actually how I came across watching KWAK, because he has the first one that I watched was How to Clean a Cast Iron Pan, or A Day in the Life of Ahmed Khawaja, which he's the director of KWAK. And it's only like 5 minutes, and it just looks like he took a shit ton of footage of Ahmed, just a day in his life, where he cooks himself an egg in a cast iron pan, and then runs some errands unsuccessfully. And you almost get the sense that John Wilson took all this footage and then cut it together and then just played it and just did voiceover narration on the spot. Just created a story. Kind of, it works in certain places, and then other places you can tell that you really get this sense of like he's making it up right now.
He's just winging it.
He's just winging it. And it seems like he's kind of like, it almost feels like someone else cut the footage together, because it seems like he's surprised by some of the footage, and you can tell like he's good. You get the sense where he's like, the gears in his brain are working to try and come up, like, to work it into the story. So here's a couple of them. The one was How to Clean a Cast Iron Pan, which I watched, which is really funny. How to Live with Bed Bugs, which he takes you through bed bugs in New York City, and how to continue living with them. And it's actually really interesting because throughout much of it, it's just kind of funny, and him and his roommates get bed bugs, and they bring in an exterminator and this and that, and they're trying to get rid of it and everything. And then at the end, it actually takes this like a little investigative journalism turn, where you actually kind of like learn about mattresses in New York City and what happens to them. Like when you put them out and you even spray paint on them, do not take them, it has bed bugs. And then someone comes along and takes them within like 5 minutes, and they repurpose them and then sell them back to people.
Oh, God.
So that's why there's bed bugs in New York City. So I watched that one. Another one, How to Remain Single, which I also found pretty damn funny. And he has a couple other ones on here that I haven't gotten to see yet, but just the whole idea of what they are, because all three of those were essentially the same, where it's just like this footage and it's just like him. His delivery is much like Tucker Audley's video essays.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
It's kind of like that style. And it seems like like I said, he's just making it up on the spot. Or at least that's what it feels like.
And where can people watch those again?
johnsmovies.com.
Okay, yeah. So I'll kind of look into those definitely. I saw The Purge Election Year.
Ooh.
Got to check out the third installment in the Purge series. I think I like this one the best out of all of them, actually. They did some really interesting things, and I like the idea of the Purge movies because they feel like modern B movies. They feel like the type of movies that you would watch, like an old John Carpenter movie or something like that. Something that would come out in the 80s, where there's like this kind of near future where there's this crazy thing that's taking place and it's somehow legal and people take part in it. And this one I thought was, they introduced some kind of interesting things into it. The first one being drones, like, because drones are a big thing. So one of the things that some of the purgers would do in this one would be to fly drones to find people. And I thought that would be definitely something that would happen in real life. The other thing was they talked about foreign people coming over here to purge. So they kind of explored the idea of people from other countries deliberately coming over here and visiting on Purge night to kill people.
So it's like a tourism thing now.
Yeah, yep. So I thought that was kind of an interesting topic as well. And this one really went down the political road because it's all about this woman who, she's a senator, I believe, and she's running for president. And her platform is that she's going to get rid of the Purge because when she was younger, her entire family was killed on Purge night. And so her platform is to get rid of it completely. And then there's this kind of basically it's the rich white people who are trying to kill her. And it definitely gets into like the kind of classism, where it's all of the lower class, the lower income people that are the ones that suffer because of the Purge, because they can't afford these high tech, security systems, and they can't afford to stay inside during this and what have you. So they kind of explore that more. They looked at it in the other ones, but they really talk about it a lot in this one.
Yeah.
And I also noticed like there's more of a race thing in this one too, where it's all like the upper class snooty white people that are basically controlling this thing, and it's always like it's largely the minorities that are suffering because of it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to include in this one as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not it's the Purge. So, there's still a lot of really ridiculous shit that happens in it, but I had a good time with it. I was really surprised. Like the second one I thought was a little bit better than the first one, but I still wasn't really hot on it. But this one I thought was the best of the bunch. So I would actually recommend checking it out. The Purge Election Year. Just know that it's a Purge movie, so it's going to be ridiculous.
So my expectations should be super high.
Yeah, basically.
A lot of long takes. Very cerebral.
Oh, I thought that this one actually looked the best of all of them too, cinematography wise. Like, it's very stylish. I mean, like the costumes that the people wear and the masks, and they have like the guns, these really elaborate guns that are decorated and look completely ridiculous. Like this one group of it was like a group of young girls that was driving around. They had their entire car covered in Christmas lights, so like their whole car lit up, and then they had these crazy suits on and bedazzled. The girl had a bedazzled AK-47, and it was just ridiculous, but really fun at the same time.
Just over the top. That's kind of what you want with the Purge. Pretty much maybe the exact opposite of the Purge. I watched The Emperor Jones. This is a movie from 1933.
Okay.
Directed by Dudley Murphy. Trying to watch a little more of the old films there. Watch this one for Paul Robeson is in the lead. This is on Hulu Plus, by the way. This actually is a part of a Criterion box set that came out way back. This is a Paul Robeson box set. In this, he plays Brutus Jones, who starts out as a Pullman porter. And the film, it's based on a Eugene O'Neill play. And the narrative of it is kind of a mess. It's a bit all over the place because he starts out as a Pullman porter. And then he gets into like some gambling with this guy that's like his friend, but he's also like involved with his friend's girlfriend. And then he ends up getting arrested. He's on a chain gang. And then he kills one of the warders on the chain gang. And then he just swims out to a Caribbean island and then becomes essentially in charge of the Caribbean island. Becomes their ruler.
Their emperor, so to speak.
Yeah, you could say that he becomes an emperor. Emperor, like they call him Emperor Jones.
Oh,
that makes sense. It's all right. I mean, Paul Robeson's pretty good. I mean, outside of his performance, there's really not much here, except for two scenes in particular. When the instance that he kills the chain gang warder, it kind of goes into this like almost like handheld tracking shot of him like fleeing, which just looked amazing for the simple fact of, up until that point, everything, all the static shots have been kind of basic. And this is the first time that it's actually like kind of moving, and it feels kind of modern in a sense. So it kind of catches you off guard and it looks great. And then there's a long sequence at the end where him being emperor, he becomes like a dictator, really, and he's just awful to the people on the island, and they kind of turn on him and want to overthrow him. So he runs into the jungle to try and get away, and the jungle sets are all this like deep blue tint, and it has this kind of like dream, and he has visions and hallucinations, and he's kind of losing his mind, and it's all really interesting because again, it feels pretty modern compared to everything else that's happening, because everything else in this movie is like all the characters, most of the characters are black, but the way in which they speak is that really irritating, like how white people think black slaves talked.
Oh yeah,
where it's just that awful stereotype. They all like speak like that. It's just really irritating to have to watch for a little over an hour. So everything, there's so much of it feels so old, and then there's these moments where it kind of breaks out and feels kind of modern, and those instances are great, but everything else is kind of eh.
Okay, that's Emperor Jones on Hulu Plus.
And I was also kind of surprised for 1933, like they say the N-word a lot, like a lot.
I don't know how like taboo it was or politically incorrect it was to say that. Well, that's offensive, rather.
Well, and the first time they say it, I'm like, it's like, well, this is kind of interesting because it's predominantly black cast, so that's really interesting for 1933. And then they say it the first time, and I'm like, okay, it's 1933, kind of makes sense. And then they just keep saying it over and over and over again. I'm like, wow, okay, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Keeping with the classics, I saw 2 1313 movies.
Sweet Jesus.
Now, I said when we did Ryan Watches a Movie last week, I said I was gonna watch one of these, and I decided to watch 2 of them. I was even thinking about doing like a retrospective on the site on this series because it's just so weird. I had no idea what these were about, other than the fact that I noticed that the cover of all of them involved shirtless men and then usually one older woman, at least one older woman on the cover with the shirtless young men. And so these are all directed by, what's his name? David Duchovny. Is it David?
I think so.
And they all pretty much have the exact same plot. And that's, there is a mansion and a group of young men go to the mansion for some reason, and then they get killed in very non-threatening, non-violent ways. because like they get killed, but you never really see it. It's not like these movies are violent or anything like that. So the first one I watched was 1313 Cougar Cult. Interestingly, this stars Linnea Quigley, who you may know from. She was a big scream queen in the 80s. Actually, the three women in this were all big scream queens in the 80s. She was in like Return of the Living Dead. One of my favorites was Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout, where she was doing aerobics, and pretty much the whole time she was doing aerobics, her boob kept popping out.
That's it? That's the movie?
Yeah, it was a workout tape. It was a workout VHS. And it was just it's the funniest thing if you can track down a copy of this. But so 1313 Cougar Cult, it's these three, they're witches, I guess, and they turn into cougars. And by turn into cougars, I mean there is literally a JPEG of a cougar face that appears over top of their face.
What? So only the face turns into a cougar?
Yeah.
So they still retain the body of a human?
Yes.
And then they just have the JPEG cougar face?
Yes, and if you see it, which you can find a clip of this on YouTube, it is the most ridiculous thing you will ever see. It's like Birdemic levels of ridiculous. So they put out an ad for housekeepers, I guess, and these three college guys come in, and the movies, all of these movies are comprised of shirtless young men that go to this. It's all, and they all take place in the same place too. They all take place in the exact same mansion, and it's the furnishing is always the exact same. So it looks like Dave DeCoteau just rents this mansion that's like pre-furnished and just doesn't do anything. He just shoots there. And it just looks like the most generic, like all of the shit looks like it's like bought artwork at Pier 1 or whatever. It just looks so terrible. I read that since the making of these movies, that mansion was actually torn down. It was it was in Santa Barbara, and it was.
I like to think that it's someone trying to stop.
It could be, and apparently a talking cat, which is what we had Ryan watch, that kind of sparked this whole thing. Apparently, that was actually shot in that mansion too.
Whose mansion is it? That's what I want to know. We haven't.
If you see it, I think it's a rental. Like I don't think that, because it's huge, first of all, but the way that it's furnished, I don't think anybody actually lives there. I think it's definitely a rental. But at any rate, the other thing that's common throughout all of these is very long extended scenes of these men rubbing their chests. So like it'll be a shower scene, and they'll just be rubbing their chest. And I'm not kidding you. The second one that I saw, Giant Killer Bees, there's a scene where a guy, I'm pretty sure that at least 30 minutes of this movie is chest rubbing. There's one scene that goes on for 10 minutes. He's in the shower for 10 minutes rubbing his chest. And
I love the fact that even though, because I imagine that these giant killer bees, they're attacking people. It sounds like it's a problem. It sounds like it's a problem. Is it? I mean, it's got to be a problem in some sense.
Well, the giant killer bees one's great because it's these three college students, or it's one specific college student who is working as a scientist, and they go there, and it's a house, the mansion, it's the same mansion, full of these young guys. It's one girl, and then all these other young guys who are apparently scientists working on this to save the bees. They're just a bunch of dudes trying to save the bees. And they all walk around without a shirt on. They all wear white briefs, like white tighty whities.
Okay.
All the same brand, like just straight up. They're all wearing these tighty whities.
Yeah.
In all of the movies, not just Giant Killer Bees, all of them.
All of them.
And the first chest rubbing scene in Giant Killer Bees involves a guy who he's outside, he's playing soccer with his boy, and he goes in and he lays down on the bed, and he's just rubbing his chest for like 10 minutes. And while he's doing that, one of the giant killer bees is just watching him, and it waits until he's done rubbing his chest before attacking him and turning him into a zombie. These movies These movies are indescribable. They're just they're baffling. They're baffling to me.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yep, I can't understand it. And they don't even use soap when they're in the shower, rubbing their chests. They don't use soap, so it's like there's no soap. So it's like I think you would be able to cut down on the length that you have to rub your chest if you just use some soap. That'll you'll clean up quicker.
But yeah, that's just inefficient.
But it's so funny because during the scenes, it's like the camera just pans up and down, up and down, up and down. And it goes down and it pans down real slow. And you're like, uh-oh, here we go. Here's the money shot. But it stops right at their waist. So they're very tame, too. There's no nudity. There's no sex. So they're all very, I'd say if they were rated, they'd be like a PG-13.
Yeah.
There's no no swearing, no violence. So they're very tame. And I read that the reason that they're called, because I was curious why they're called 1313, it's so that they rank higher on VOD lists. So when you look at streaming services, they'll be number one because they're called 1313.
Wow.
Yep. That is the only reason that they're called 1313 is so that they appear higher on VOD lists, because these movies, I learned, were specifically made for streaming services. They used to all be on Netflix. They're not anymore, but they used to be all on Netflix.
And it's just this weird fetish thing of dudes rubbing their chest.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's such a bizarre thing. And he made all of those. So the 1313 series is done, and now he's working on one called 666. So that's his new series that he's working on. But they're like really boring. Like that's the thing. They're so terrible, but they're really boring, and they're all the same. So I feel like if you watch one, just watch one. I would recommend Giant Killer Bees.
Yeah, that one scene just sounds amazing. I just want to see, a guy rubbing his chest after a game of soccer, and a bee just like, I'm gonna wait.
It just watches him.
I'm gonna at least let him, because I wonder if the bee's worried that he's like having a heart attack or something. He's like, oh shit, like his chest hurts maybe.
I don't know, maybe.
I'll figure out the situation, and then after a while, he's like, fuck it. I'm going to take him out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Giant killer bees. They're just trying to say, do they save the bees, though? I need to know that.
They all get stung. Oh. And for some reason, when you get stung, you turn into a zombie. And then the one guy escapes.
Well, kind of makes sense if you're not wearing shirts and nothing but tighty whities.
Well, the other interesting thing is there was a scene where the one guy was in the shower rubbing his chest. Another guy that already got stung goes in to the bathroom, and the guy turns around and he sees him and he goes, "Hey, mind if you get my back?" And so the guy starts like rubbing his back while he's rubbing his own chest. And at first I'm like, if one of my friends or they're not friends, they're coworkers. These are coworkers. If one of my coworkers walked into the bathroom while I was in the shower, I'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, get out of here." But no, he was cool with it. But then, so the guy bites him and turns him into a zombie.
Oh, shit. Damn.
And first of all, there's no like makeup effects or anything. These are just regular people.
Do they just appear like a little bit more sluggish?
Yeah, they just kind of look, the way that they stand, they kind of look lethargic.
Okay.
So he gets bitten by the other guy, and then the next scene they show them both standing poolside wearing their tighty whities. So one could only assume that he got bit, turned into a zombie, then put on the tighty whities afterwards as a zombie and went down to the pool.
So the zombie is two things. So even if when you become a zombie, number one, you're still worried about hygiene, because it sounds like he at least finished up the shower. And then number two is still kind of self-conscious about your body that you're going to put tighty whities on. Because you would think, like, at that point, if you're a zombie, you don't care. You don't give a shit.
You're not thinking about anything. You're just, like, thinking brains or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, again, baffling. These movies, I doubt that I will move forward with my retrospective. I think 2 is enough.
You're going to call it quits?
Yeah.
Jeez.
If you want to see something weird, I would say check one of these 1313 movies out, because They're very strange. I think you could probably just watch because there's a Dakota's production company or whatever. They have their own YouTube channel, and you can watch trailers for all of these. So check out the trailers, and I think that'll be enough.
Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if I can follow up 1313. You know what I mean?
I'll try to blast through these couple others. I saw Suicide Squad. A big disappointment, this one.
Is it better than 1313?
Yeah, I would say it is. But it's not good. It's not good. I feel like it was such a wasted opportunity because I liked the characters, I liked the casting of the characters, and I thought that they were all very interesting. Everybody on the Suicide Squad team was pretty interesting. I didn't like Killer Croc and what they did with him, but it wasn't really a character thing. It was more of just a poor writing thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I heard that this was pretty bad. Like, by the time I saw it, the early reviews were out, and they were saying it's not. This is no good. So I had no expectations going into it, and I got to say, like, for the first maybe 15 to 20 minutes, I was into it. I was like, oh, I don't know what people are talking about. This is solid. I'm really into this. But then they introduced the villain, who is horrible, and at that point, it started losing me big time. And by the end, I was just like, what a squandered opportunity. This movie is such a convoluted, nonsensical mess. I can't even, I don't understand how they looked at this, like the final cut of this, and we're like, yep, that's it. That's the one. Because from what I understand, they did all these reshoots and stuff, and there were like 3 different cuts of this movie. And it's like, this is the one you picked? This does not work. This does not work. None of this makes sense. And like you have such an easy thing that you can do here. Make it small scale. You don't have to go big with it, but they tried to go big, and that was part of the problem. Like with all these superhero movies, you always have like the giant beam that goes up into the sky, and there's like aliens coming down, and the world's about to explode. And it's like, we don't need that in this movie. They tried to do it, and it ruined everything.
Yeah, it seems like they do that in all of them.
Yeah,
they just all kind of have like the same climax.
Yeah, and they tried to do that in this, and it just didn't work because the villain was lame, and it just it didn't need it. This is a movie that begged for a smaller scale, lower stakes, conflict, and it really, really fell flat. And the character development was really poorly done too, which was also a shame because, like I said, a lot of the characters, like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, was a great choice. Ben Affleck shows up as Batman for a couple scenes, and I still think that he's a great Batman. And it upsets me because it's like Ben Affleck, he's looking at these reviews and he's like, God, what a mistake. What a fucking mistake. But it's like, I hope he realizes, Ben Affleck, if you're listening, it's not your fault. You're not the one that is ruining these things. Jared Leto
he listens too.
Yeah, of course.
That's the thing.
Viola Davis is Amanda Waller. She was a great choice. She did a great job. I mean, all the actors in this were fine. Will Smith is Deadshot. It was good. That was on point. It was a good choice to cast him in that role because he was great. But it's just the plot, the dialogue, everything about that was so poorly executed. The editing was sloppy, and it's just it's a real shame. So I can't recommend Suicide Squad. We have a review for this up on the site. I think Blake gave it a 4 out of 10. He wasn't into it either. So
what would you give it if you had to score this some bitch?
I gave it 2 on Letterboxd, so I'd be sitting somewhere. I'd probably be like a 3.5 or a 4 for me. Yeah, it was just such a wasted opportunity, just squandered. I saw a movie called The Lost Arcade. Now on Letterboxd, it's listed as The Last Arcade, but it's actually called The Lost Arcade. This is I'll be really brief with this one. It's a documentary about Chinatown Fair. Now, have you been to Chinatown Fair with? I think you probably have the arcade in Chinatown.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, this is about that arcade. So it kind of talks about the people that would go there and it closing, and it talks about the history behind the arcade. And I didn't know it, but the dancing chicken from that Herzog movie is one of his earlier movies, which I didn't see. But there was a famous scene that just randomly had this dancing chicken. That's from Chinatown Fair.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting. But it kind of goes behind the history of this, and then it's closed a few years ago. And so it documents the last night that it's opened, and then it later somebody bought or rented the property and reopened it as a new arcade, and kind of how it's different and how it doesn't feel the same and stuff like that. And it just kind of follows around some of the people that worked there and that were patrons there. And it's really well done, but I think, like, for me, I'm not going to write a review on this or anything because I had like kind of a personal connection to that place, and I just don't, I really don't know if someone who hasn't been there before, if they would get the same out of it. I think maybe it's a very specific documentary. It tries to be broad. It tries to get into kind of the philosophy behind video game arcades and why people love them and why people went to them in the first place. And kind of the fact that they're not, there's hardly any of them around anymore. But it's still very specific to Chinatown Fair.
Yeah. But
at any rate, it's good. It's coming out this week, so I want to check that out. And the only other one I'll mention is called Mind's Eye, or The Mind's Eye. It's from Joe Bagos. He's the guy who did Almost Human, which tie-in here had Donald in it in an acting role.
Was it Donald Trebek?
No. At least I don't think so. I don't really remember him in it, but I noticed while we were...
There's no way that it's Donald Trebek then. Because if it was Donald Trebek, you would definitely remember.
Yeah. So The Mind's Eye is... So if you saw Almost Human, that was basically a sort of homage to The Thing. The Mind's Eye, at least to me, was an homage to Scanners, the Cronenberg film. And so it's about a group of telekinetic people who are being experimented on by this kind of I don't know if it's it's maybe a loosely tied government agency, like loosely tied to the government, but it's really just this kind of research institute, and they break out and they try to escape. Basically, it's okay. I didn't think that it was anything special. There was some cool practical effects in it. But other than that, it was like meh. It was a meh for me. There's a lot of heads exploding and stuff. Very, very Scanners-esque. Larry Fessenden in it. So I always like to see cameos from him and wonder how he's going to get killed. Because he always gets killed. Anytime you see a cameo from Larry Fessenden, you know he's going to get it. Noah Segan's in it. He does a good job. Jeremy Gardner, the director of The Battery, he's in it. Mm. And Lauren Ashley Carter, who's in Darling and Jugface. Yeah. She was in Darling, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's a veritable who's who of indie horror in this one.
Gotcha.
And it's just, unfortunately, it's just kind of average. It's got this like kind of synth score. It takes place in, I think, 1991, so it's kind of a throwback. And it's okay. I mean, looking at what's available now as far as like new horror movies, there's not much out there. So I would maybe say it might be worth a look. There's some really cool special effects in it. So I'd say maybe check it out for that if you're into kind of advanced gore effects. But yeah, that's The Mind's Eye. That's on VOD, so you can check it out there. All right, let's move on and talk about some predictions. Last week, Suicide Squad. You said 52. I said 68. Actual 26.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. It's unfortunate. 9 lives. You said 0. I said 10. Actual 4. So you actually won that one.
I wonder who liked it.
There was, I think I did look this up. It was,
Liked it.
it was a pretty big publication. I can't remember if it was the Village Voice.
Because there had to be some of those, just like, it's a talk, yeah, baby.
Yeah,
It's not that bad.
That's kind of what it was. There actually weren't that many reviews for this one because they did not screen it for critics. So most critics were just like, "Fuck it, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to pay to go see this."
I don't blame them.
No, I don't blame them at all either. We certainly didn't send anybody to see it.
I like to think that we did, and that person was just like, no, sorry.
Sorry, guys, I can't do it. Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say about Nine Lives. It's just, I like the poster where it has like the me and an arrow pointed.
Yeah.
Me.
Uh,
Just awful.
MTV.
Next week,
Yeah, okay. Amy Nicholson from MTV.
yeah, that's it, MTV.
And I just love that. He's like, yes, Nine Lives is done. Oh, God.
Yeah, at least she recognizes it. I think people can have fun with dumb movies too. But I don't know. You're trying to give an objective opinion, as objective as you can. And I don't know. Anyway,
She had to be drunk.
Probably.
I think that's the only way in which you can enjoy yourself. And like, if I was drunk and watching Nine Lives, I'd probably like it. I'd probably have a good time.
Probably make me laugh. Next week we have Sausage Party.
I can't wait until this is over and gone.
I heard that it's really good. I heard that it is absolutely hilarious. The side mouths really, they irritate me for some reason. Like the hot dog rolls with the side mouths. Because it's just, I don't know why. It's just such a stupid looking movie. And not in a sense of like, oh, it's dumb, it's talking food and stuff. It's just like artistically, the way it looks. Just looks like absolute shit to me. Well, I think it's supposed to look like a kid's movie, and that's part of the...
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it just reminds me of Food Fight. Like it just whatever.
I don't know how how do you have enough for a whole movie?
I have no idea. This currently has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently from all the reviews that I've read so far, it's like a nonstop laugh riot.
Oh boy.
So we'll see. I'll be checking it out. I'm interested in it. What are you thinking on Sausage Party?
I don't know what to think anymore. We had 9 Lives last week, and now we got Sausage Party, and I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. I just don't understand the world. I'm gonna say like a 74.
74? All right. I'll say 86 on that one.
Okay.
And we also have Pete's Dragon.
Pete got himself a dragon. I never saw the original Pete's Dragon.
I saw it ages ago. I remember very little. I remember I didn't like it. But
I watched the trailer to this, and I'm not interested at all.
I'm not interested either, even though it's directed by David Lowery.
Yeah, that's surprising to me. That's just that's bizarre.
That's Disney. That's Disney grabbing up the indie directors and having them do big things.
But Pete's Dragon is not going to be good. And do you know why I know this?
Why?
Because Wes Bentley's in it.
Oh no! Oh, I like Wes Bentley. It's unfortunate.
Wes Bentley cannot act at all.
I like Wes Bentley. That's a shame. All right. What do you? I'll do this one. I'll say 68.
I'll say 64.
All right. Then we have Florence Foster Jenkins. So the one with Meryl Streep.
What?
Yeah. Florence Foster Jenkins.
It's a terrible name for a movie.
It is. I've been seeing posters for it out and about, but I don't know. It's a period piece, I believe, but I don't know what the hell it is.
It's got some Hugh Grant action in there.
Yeah. I don't know. What are you thinking on this one? I don't know anything about it. I literally have no idea what it's even about.
A wealthy New York heiress attempts to become an opera singer despite her horrible singing voice.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have seen trailers for this one.
This is apparently a biopic, so I guess this was interesting enough to make a movie out of it, apparently. So I'm going to say 52.
Okay.
It looks awful.
Yeah, I'll say 48 on that one. I think that these next ones that I'm gonna go over are in limited release, so we're not. I really don't know. There's a shitload of stuff coming out this week.
Yeah.
We got Hell or High Water. That's the crime drama with Jeff Bridges. Looks mildly interesting. I think Chris Pine's in that one.
Okay.
We have Bloodfather. That's the new one with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson making a comeback. He's hoping that people forgot.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'll probably skip this one. It's interesting. Like the last Mel Gibson movie, that Gringo one, that was actually pretty good. So I don't know. The other trailer, the trailer for his next directorial effort came out this week. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. It's I already forgot the name of the damn thing. It's a World War II movie, I believe. Looks pretty interesting. We have Anthropoid with Cillian Murphy. We have Collide. How far would you go for the one you love? Collide. I don't know anything about.
Seems like they go all the way and collide with whatever it is that they're going after.
Disorder, and then in parentheses it says Marilyn.
Yeah, that was originally called. That's by the woman that co-wrote Mustang.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I got an email about that.
What? Oh my God, what's that guy's name? Bullhead.
Oh, Matthias.
Schoenaerts, yeah.
Schoenaerts.
Yeah, he's in that one.
Oh, okay. Is it the one?
Came out a while ago, or I guess it played festivals a couple years back, I think.
Yeah, with Diane Kruger.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have Edge of Winter. I saw this one. I didn't mention it because it's not very good. With Joel Kinnaman. Not very good at all, and it's not really worth talking about. Joshi, I'm interested in this one. It's with Thomas Middleditch. And there's like a ton of people, like Alex Ross Perry's in it. Okay. A lot of interesting comedic people in that one. So I'll be checking that out. It's an indie comedy. Operation Chromite. I have no idea what that is.
All right.
A comedy called Ghost Team that looks pretty bad. A thriller called The Model.
Uh-huh.
My Best Friend's Wedding? What the hell's that? Is that like a remake or something?
Maybe.
Yeah. The Lost Arcade. Oh, man. I think that's it.
Excuse me. No.
There's so many next week. Just, I don't understand. Next week on VOD, we have Women He's Undressed on... That's Tuesday, August 9th. That's a documentary about I think it's a fashion designer. I don't know. I can't remember which one. I feel like there's a lot of documentaries about fashion designers.
It does seem like that was a thing.
Yeah.
A little while ago.
And then Friday, August 12th, we have Amateur Night and Joshi.
Okay.
So again, I'd say check out Joshi. It looks interesting. On Blu-ray next week, August 9th, we have Basket Case 3, The Progeny is getting a re-release. That's probably on Shout Factory. I'm interested in that, or Scream Factory, rather. Yeah, Basket Case 2 is also getting a re-release. Baskin, that's the Turkish horror movie that we saw a while back. A Hologram for the King, that's the Tom Hanks one that is apparently pretty shitty. Mm-hmm. The James Franco series 11/22/63, the one that was on, I think it was on Hulu, right?
Yeah.
That's coming out on Blu-ray. I actually watched that. I enjoyed it. That was pretty good.
Okay. I was thinking about watching that one. It seemed interesting.
It is. It's pretty interesting. I was worried about the payoff because it was setting itself up to be like a really shitty payoff, but I thought they did a pretty good job with it. Arrow Video is releasing the Female Prisoner Scorpion complete collection, so I'm actually kind of interested in that because I haven't seen any of those.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot next week.
Okay.
Do you have anything on the old Criterion front?
The Criterions that are coming out on Tuesday are none.
Yeah, I don't see any on here. It's I feel like they're taking a couple weeks off.
Yeah, kind of slacking.
Slacking, guys. Come on.
Slacking, Criterion.
Jeez. All right. Well, I think that is going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulsenet and @filmpulsekevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/filmpulse, and consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rickstraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.